Hey everyone, Guillermo del Toro is back, and this time he's breathing new life into one of the greatest Gothic stories ever told. Frankenstein 2025 isn't just another monster movie. It's a haunting, tragic, and visually stunning reimagining of Mary Shelley's masterpiece, full of love, loss, and some devastating twists you might not have seen coming. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master, and today we're diving deep into Frankenstein 2025, breaking down its ending, every major change from the novel, and what it all really means. So grab your candles, brace for heartbreak, and let's uncover how Guillermo del Toro turned Frankenstein into his most human monster story yet. Victor Frankenstein, the true monster. From the very beginning, del Toro paints Victor as a man consumed, not just by science, but by ego. Every frame of his story bleeds with arrogance. He talks about conquering death, but it's clear from the start that what he's really trying to conquer is his own fear of insignificance. Unlike older adaptations that made Victor a tortured hero, del Toro's version leans into his cruelty. He's cold, impulsive, and dangerously self-righteous. He doesn't see people, not his brother, not Elizabeth, and definitely not his creation, as living beings. They're just extensions of his will. Even when he recounts his past, Victor never shows remorse. Every tragedy, every death becomes someone else's fault. When his brother Henrik dies, he blames fate. When Elizabeth distances herself, he blames her. And when the creature rises and suffers, he calls it a mistake, never admitting that the true mistake was his own pride. It's only after his world completely crumbles, after his brother, his fiancée, and his own sanity are gone, that Victor starts to see what he's become. But even then, his self-awareness feels fleeting. His quest for redemption isn't about making things right. It's about punishing himself for the monster he made. And that's what makes del Toro's Victor so tragic. He's not just fighting the creature, he's fighting the reflection of his own sins. The creature's humanity. Del Toro has always loved monsters that feel more human than the people around them, and Frankenstein might be his clearest example yet. The creature, often feared, often misunderstood, is the beating heart of this adaptation. Yes, he's powerful, terrifying even, but del Toro makes sure we see the sadness behind the scars. His first moments are a mix of confusion and innocence, like a newborn seeing the world for the first time. Where Victor sees failure, Elizabeth sees possibility. Their connection becomes the emotional anchor of the story. Unlike Victor, she treats the creature with kindness, curiosity, and empathy. It's through her that the creature learns what it means to feel, to love, to lose, and to want something more than vengeance. Their growing bond changes everything. When Elizabeth looks at him, she doesn't see a monster. She sees a soul. And that's precisely what drives Victor mad with jealousy. The tragic triangle: Victor, Elizabeth, and the creature. This is where del Toro's Frankenstein hits hardest. The story slowly transforms into a dark, twisted love triangle between Victor, Elizabeth, and the creature. But instead of romantic competition, it's really about who understands love and who's capable of it. Victor's love for Elizabeth is possessive and selfish. He doesn't love her for who she is, but for how she makes him feel. Safe, admired, grounded. The creature, on the other hand, loves her purely. He's drawn to her compassion, her warmth, and the way she sees beauty where others see horror. There's a heartbreaking moment when Victor gives his creation a cruel test. He tells him he'll spare his life if he can speak another word besides Victor. The creature, trembling, whispers, "Elizabeth." But instead of mercy, Victor reacts with rage, his jealousy finally boiling over. That moment seals all of their fates. Elizabeth's death, the final blow. Elizabeth's death is the turning point that breaks everything. After the events spiral out of control, the creature finds Elizabeth again on her wedding night. Their reunion is tender and sorrowful, two souls finally finding each other in the chaos. For a brief moment, it feels like they might find peace. But then Victor appears, Seeing them together, he snaps. Fueled by jealousy and hatred, he fires his gun, missing the creature and striking Elizabeth instead. Her death is quiet and devastating. She dies in the creature's arms, whispering that she was never meant for this world. That one line, "I was never meant for this world," is pure Del Toro poetry. It echoes through the rest of the film like a ghost. The creature's grief turns to fury. For the first time, he truly becomes the monster Victor always accused him of being. But the beauty of Del Toro's version is that even in his rage, the creature's pain is deeply human. His violence isn't mindless. It's grief turned inside out.
Demand a single grace from you.
The Angel of Death, Victor's haunted mind. Throughout the movie, Victor is haunted by recurring visions of an angel, a figure of divine beauty that slowly decays into something skeletal and horrifying. It's one of the most striking visual motifs in the film and pure Del Toro symbolism. At first, the angel appears as a comforting vision, something Victor clings to during moments of doubt. It represents faith, hope, and maybe even forgiveness. But as Victor's sins mount, the angel changes. Its once beautiful face cracks away, revealing a skull beneath. The flames surrounding it grow brighter, until the vision feels less like salvation and more like judgment. The angel mirrors Victor's descent. The more he loses his humanity, the more grotesque his guardian becomes. It's both his conscience and his curse, a manifestation of the divine warning he refuses to hear. And when his laboratory finally burns, the angel's fiery imagery comes full circle. What once represented guidance now becomes the symbol of destruction. Some fans have interpreted it as the angel of death, a literal harbinger that follows Victor through every tragedy: his mother's death, his brother's murder, Elizabeth's final breath. But others see it as his own ambition made flesh. The angel doesn't bring death, it's born from it. Either way, the message is the same. Victor's genius is inseparable from his ruin. The final confrontation in the Arctic. The last act brings Victor and the creature to the frozen ends of the earth, a hauntingly beautiful setting that Del Toro uses to symbolize isolation and decay. Victor, now broken and frail, is consumed by guilt, but still chasing his creation. It's no longer about revenge or science. It's about facing the one thing he's run from his entire life: responsibility. Their final meeting is not a battle, but a confession. Victor finally admits his sins. He acknowledges that he was the real monster all along, selfish, cruel, and blind to love. In a rare moment of humility, he begs the creature for forgiveness. And then comes the moment that redefines the entire story. The creature forgives him. It's quiet, no grand speech, no tears, just a silent act of grace. The monster that was created without a soul becomes the only one capable of showing mercy. Victor dies soon after, his final words asking the creature to live.
The creature's fate. This is where Del Toro makes his boldest change. In the original novel, after Victor's death, the creature is consumed by despair. He mourns his creator and vows to end his own life. Shelley's ending is tragic but final, a meditation on creation, guilt, and the futility of ambition. Del Toro rewrites that tragedy into something more bittersweet. Here, the creature doesn't die. Victor's experiments gave him something terrible: immortality. He can heal, survive, endure. And now he's cursed to live forever with his grief. But there's also a spark of hope. Victor's final words, "Live," echo through the icy silence. The creature takes them to heart. Instead of walking into the fire or fading into the snow, he turns and walks toward the horizon. He chooses life. It's not a happy ending, but it's a strangely beautiful one. The creature's immortality becomes a metaphor for endurance, for carrying pain and still finding meaning in it. It's Del Toro's way of saying that monsters are not born, they are made. But what we choose to do with our suffering, that's what defines our humanity. How Del Toro's ending redefines Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein doesn't just adapt Shelley's novel, it reinterprets it through his own lens of empathy and tragedy. Where Shelley's story was about man's hubris before God, Del Toro's version becomes a meditation on love and forgiveness. It asks a haunting question: if we could create life, could we ever love it? In the end, Victor's flaw isn't that he tried to play God. It's that he tried to control what he made. He couldn't accept that his creation had feelings, dreams, and pain of its own. The creature, on the other hand, begins as something inhuman and ends as the most human figure in the story. His decision to live, to keep walking forward despite everything, feels like the ultimate rebellion against his maker. Del Toro's films always end with a note of melancholy, but never despair. The Shape of Water gave love to a monster. Pan's Labyrinth gave fantasy to a dying child. And Frankenstein gives redemption to the unloved. Our nerdy thoughts. In Frankenstein 2025, Guillermo del Toro doesn't just retell a gothic horror classic, he resurrects its soul. His version transforms Shelley's cautionary tale into something deeply personal and profoundly emotional. In the end, Victor Frankenstein dies begging for forgiveness, and his creation, the so-called monster, becomes the one to grant it. It's a perfect inversion of the story's morality. The true monster is the man who couldn't love, and the true man is the monster who could. And in the final moments, as the creature disappears into the endless Arctic snow, the story leaves us with one last lingering thought. Maybe the greatest act of creation isn't life itself, it's compassion. Because even in death, Victor couldn't understand it, but the creature, the thing he made, did. And that's the most human ending Frankenstein could ever have.
I created death.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.